Coach Craig here. I wanted to talk about scheduled versus unscheduled time. And one of the things that happens is the artist within us freaks out a little bit about the constraints of a schedule. This is normal because the artist is a maker and they need a maker schedule. And the optimal maker schedule is a completely blank schedule. However, there is the possibility to create structure around artisanal work. And so what I'm experimenting with is I'm using this phrase that came from Ben Laws, which is no extra time. And so all of my waking hours end to end are completely scheduled. And this is the pinnacle of intentionality. Now, when you hear that, you might think, oh my God, like he's doing like 15-minute increments of everything and every little task is like designated and like there's no flexibility. Not at all. It just means that I have very clear intent at every section of my day. And every section of my day has habit stacks. And so there's basically 3 habit stacks that I have, and then the other stuff that fills in the gaps between the 3 habit stacks. So there's my boot up sequence, and so that's always the same every day. And there's my go to sleep sequence, and that's the same every day. And so those 2 habit stacks, there's multiple habits that are included in each of those. And then there's habit stacks surrounding CrossFit, which I do 5 days a week. And so each one of these little anchors in our schedule gets expanded out until it touches the ones that are expanding out from the other habit stack. And so I'm experimenting with this. My intent is to be much, much more intentional with my time and to be able to clearly indicate where things are and are not working in my life. Because there's a lot of decision making that I'm currently doing because I don't have things scheduled enough. And so that decision making creates this decision fatigue where I'm like, okay, well, I have to reassess what the most important thing is that I ought to be doing. And that process takes energy. The intent of having a highly scheduled, a completely scheduled life is to not have to have that decision fatigue. I'm outsourcing the decision making to a given scheduled time once a week to write the schedule. And so I'm reevaluating the schedule. And when I reevaluate the schedule, I'm going to look at what worked and what didn't work. So if something is really problematic in the schedule, I'm going to notate that. And then that's going to come up during the scheduling session. And then I can have some drift and really think about what it means. Like, why didn't that work? And is it that I just need to sort of handle it and be more disciplined, or just sort of deal with the fact that there's a scheduled thing that wasn't scheduled before, or is there a real problem here? And so some of it might just take some adjustment, and I'm willing to go through that in order to get the benefits of removing all of these little micro decisions that are going on throughout my day. So I hope this is helpful for maybe allowing you to pull some energy back into your life, because as entrepreneurs, we want to be able to execute at a graceful and tranquil pace. We want to be able to build at a tranquil pace, at a pace that feels natural, that doesn't feel frantic, right? And that's the intent, is to create some more structure so that things can flow with much less decision making. Coach Craig out.